And welcome on into Wager Weekly for week 3 in the NFL. Kicking it off on Thursday night as the New York Giants head to San Francisco to take on what arguably may be the best team in the league right now, the San Francisco 49ers. 10-44 is your line in this game. San Francisco a 10-point favorite, and 44 is your total. Opened 45, so it's come down a little bit. Let me bring in the man who's going to break it all down for you as he does each and every week right here at WagerWeekly.com. That is the one and only Mr. Paul Nolan. Mr. Nolan, how are you?
Well, that is some intro, man. I wish I walked home from work. Like I come home from work and my wife would just say, the one and only Paul Nolan enters the house. It would be so nice to get that kind of love. Thanks.
Hey,
dude.
take the garbage out and go do your stuff.
Yeah, take the garbage out. You're getting soft in the middle. You know, you're balding. Yeah, so yeah, Thursday Night Football here. Have Giants in prime time again, boy. What a game last week. All the pros that I know that were on the Giants and all the pros that I know that were on Arizona were just being straight up contrarians. And I'm thinking to myself, as watching that game, was how in God's name how could anyone even bet this game? What a roller coaster. Daniel Jones woke up in the second half. Obviously, it's a good locker room. I know that to be a fact. I know that these guys like each other and they support each other, but still a matter of all the young players in the back end of that defense. It's a matter of young players, on the edges. The injuries already have hit them. It's a team that's really in a full rebuild, but most importantly, that offensive line is abysmal, especially without Thomas. I mean, they really couldn't do anything. And then the coaching staff really showed its mettle, in my opinion, because if they don't win that game, people will go right instantly from saying, wow, Dable was the greatest coach of the year. What a job. Turn them around, turning Daniel Jones into Josh Allen light. And then all of a sudden, 0-2, you're thinking, he stinks, got to be fired. New York media going haywire.
Or you're thinking, and you're texting your buddy, the Giants may go 0-17 this year, which is what I did to you, as the Giants were outscored at that point, I think 60-0 through the first 6 quarters of football play. I texted you that they may go 0-17. I turned the game off, and then my wife tells me that, and I know the Giants came back to win 31-28.
That's my brilliant reply to you. Well, they might even do worse. It could be the first 17-game schedule. They go 0-18. It was that bad looking. And then, of course, they came back. So, it was a good win for the Giants. It was interesting. It was fun. But,
that's their biggest comeback since 1950. I mean, it really is, putting the joking aside, it really is unbelievable. Outscored 60-0 in the first 6 quarters. I mean, an absolute tale of two halves. Biggest comeback since the 1950s. And now they're rewarded by traveling on a short week in the NFC West for the second straight week to maybe the best team in the NFL.
They packed their bags. They stayed out west, obviously. I know that, this could be one of those things where you learn a lot about the Giants. If they could play a really hard-nosed game here, because there is a good locker room. They had time to get away from the New York media. They got a comeback win, and they rallied around one another. They did it. It was an egoless come from behind win. Daniel Jones looked so supremely confident again. He looked like the kid. He really did look bigger and stronger than he had looked. And, if he could find that beast in him, he's got all kinds of potential in terms of his physical attributes. He's a really gifted athlete. But, and people sleep on the fact that he can really run. It's not a goof that he can run. He's running the ball because, of great athleticism. But, to me, it was the Hyatt and his deep ability to get downfield. I like the over in his passing yards, 214. He had over 300 last week. And now with Saquon being banged up and hurt, which, by the way, at one point I texted my Giant group, and did we just see Saquon's last play as a Giant? Because it looked serious and it looked bad, and that hit that he rolled up on, it was kind of ugly. So, I got to believe they're going to be a little more pass heavy, especially because, these young receivers look like they got some kind of potential. Darius Slayton is showing that he's got that, he had that shin down. It really looked like it should have been a complete touchdown pass. But, anyway, I have to lean towards the Giants here because it's so gruesome and ugly. You look at the San Fran team that's feeling as good as it can be. You're buying their stock as high as possible. I'm hoping to see an 11 before I pull the trigger. Right now, BetUS has 10.5, and a couple other places. I think Westgate, if I remember correctly, had had 10.5. So I'm kind of hoping to see an 11. I love 11s in the NFL. Ugly number to cover. It's a great backdoor number. So, I'm going to have to pinch my nose. This is the Dookie Duty Filth game. This is the dirty diaper Duke game that you have to just, you cannot take, San Fran at this point right now, paying such a high price for them. Well, they're going to try to keep this as really simple, close to the best game. I think they're going to try to protect their playbook for the most part, knowing they're playing against a subpar, offensive line. I don't think they're going to have to do much exotic. I think this game's going to be mucked up, ugly, and I'm thinking the Giants might find the backdoor cover because, I just don't see San Fran trying to pour it on here.
Well, I think the biggest thing you mentioned is obviously the Giants right now at a bottom 3 in the league offensive line, and Daniel Jones has been sacked 10 times. And without Saquon, I think you nailed it. If they have to be more pass heavy, what happens there? You look on the other side of the ball, Brock Purdy obviously has thrown 2 or more touchdown passes in 7 of his last 8 games. He continues to look extremely comfortable. 49ers are 10-0 in games that Purdy has started and finished. This San Francisco, I hear what you're saying, but boy, I don't know. Is the game plan to rely on Daniel Jones to throw the ball 40 times to try to beat what arguably is the best team in the league?
Look, I didn't say I like this bet, man. I'm just saying you have to take the dog in this thing because everybody in the world, everybody, their cousin, their sister, their uncle, the guy at the filling station, everybody you've ever met in your life is betting San Fran tonight. And, Vegas doesn't give away money. They just don't do it. So for me, like, it's so
88% of the money, Paul. 88%, to your point, is on San Francisco. 12% on the Giants. 86% on the spread, laying the 10 on San Francisco. 14% only on the Giants. Like you said, 10 right now at Circa. 10.5 right now at BetUS. 10 at DraftKings. 10 at FanDuel. And across the board. So we'll see if
that tells you something, right? I'm seeing a couple 9.5s too now that I'm looking at it. This tells you that the pros, are playing that they're going to play the Giants. That's what this tells you. The odds makers are not going to 11 because they know how deadly that number is. That's why I think that you got to hold out. If you get 11, you take it, or you sit it out. The other option here is I know the public is betting the under in this game or right around even on that. I just think in terms of just overall scheme, I just don't see. I see this game being a mucked up game and a slogged out game. I just don't see San Fran opening up their entire playbook for this game. It's perfect conditions. For me, it's mostly a pass game, but I would definitely lean towards the Giants if you're doing one of those pools. If you're in a pool where you have to take every game, to me, it's got to be the Giants. You just can't go with the public on this game.
Couple of ATS stats for those of you who care about that stuff. San Francisco 10-1 their last 11 as home chalk against the spread. Giants have covered 25 of their past 36 as an away dog. 49ers on a 4-1 spread run against the Giants have won 12 consecutive regular season games, second longest streak in team history. So there you go on some of those. That's going to do it for you Thursday night. Make sure you visit us, though, here each and every Thursday, Friday, Monday, and then eventually Saturday and Sunday morning streaming live, giving you the most up-to-date betting information we can right here. For Paul Nolan, I'm Damon Roberts. Visit us each and every day right here at WagerWeekly.com.